Hello everyone, my name is Jenna and welcome back. Today I am trying to get creative with my food. So I have a lot of leftover produce, a lot more than we would typically buy because we just had Jack's birthday party. I have a lot of miscellaneous things happening in this house and it's stressing me out. I don't like having a surplus like this with no plan. So for produce today, we are gonna get a little bit creative and make a crumble. I have a ton of leftover apples. I also have some blackberries. And I typically buy our like walnuts and cashews in bulk because I make milk and creams and stuff like that. So we are going to use up some of this produce today and make a blackberry and apple crumble. This recipe is not mine. I am sharing it with you. I've also never made it before, so hopefully it turns out good. This book right here, A Basket by the Door, I saw it on Pinterest and I was like, that is a beautiful cookbook cover. Like, dang, that's beautiful. None of the recipes have failed me yet, so I will link this below. I don't know Sophie Hansen, but I'm happy that this book exists. To start, go ahead and preheat your oven to 350. We're gonna get the crumble going. So combine 2 cups of plain flour, 1 cup of packed brown sugar. Grab a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. I'm pretty sure I added more than that though. We're big cinnamon people in this house, so I'm pretty sure I added a full teaspoon, but don't quote me on that. I honestly don't know which one I grabbed. Do a pinch of salt. Recipe calls for a 3/4 cup of hazelnuts, but I'm doing walnuts. And it also calls for 1 1/3 cups of rolled oats. I'm doing quick oats because that's all I had. And then 10 ounces of unsalted butter. This is the Earth Balance butter. I really love baking with it. Hand your baby an apple since he woke up from his nap a little too early. I'm gonna start mixing this. I'm gonna speed this up because it honestly took me an eternity. Make sure you cut your butter up. Dice it up into small little squares. Makes it a little bit easier. What you're looking for is like a sandy texture like you would with a pie crust. So you're just incorporating the butter into the flour and the sugar and the oats. And the more you kind of use your hands to heat up the butter, the more it will turn into that sandy, sticky texture. I don't know, it's kind of hard to describe. But as you can see, the more I work into it, the more the texture changes. I'll go ahead and pour it onto a baking tray. I completely forgot that this recipe actually makes double the amount of crumbles with the intention of freezing half of it. So learn from my mistakes. Go ahead and take half out of your bowl, put it in a freezer container, and just set it aside. And then spread it out evenly on there. That was my bad. Spread it nice and even. Break up any big chunks of butter just to make sure everything is leveled out. And then you're gonna bake it for 20 minutes. Once you start your timer, take a little break. Moments like this bring me so much joy, being able to set an example of making things from scratch. My goal this year is if I can make it from scratch, I want to at least try. And Jack is a little bit too small to really join in on the fun, but he's getting to that age where he just loves to observe. And so we sat and shared an apple and just enjoyed each other's company for a couple minutes. It just makes me so happy. Once it's done baking, it'll look nice and golden, and then we'll let it cool and start getting our fruit going. I didn't have enough blackberries. Straight up, I am doing maybe 1 1/4 cup of blackberries. The recipe does call for 2 cups. It also calls 2 tablespoons of sugar and 6 cooking apples. I don't know what a cooking apple is, so we're just using an apple. I'm going to speed this up because honestly, this part took me an absolute eternity. So you're going to skin 6 apples to the best of your ability. I don't mind the skin so much, so I wasn't super nitpicky while doing this, but you can be as nitpicky as you want. Once they are skinned, go ahead and core them and then slice them into thin pieces. Again, I wasn't super nitpicky with this. It's a crumble. It's supposed to be unique is how I'm going to phrase that. It's not supposed to be super posh. So I sliced them up, put them all in the pan together, and then you're doing the zest of one orange and then the juice of that orange. And you're just going to put this on medium-low heat for maybe 10 minutes. You'll stir it around and you'll start to see the color change, and you're just looking for your fruit to get nice and tender. I really worked this orange because I wanted little chunks of orange inside the crumble because I just love that texture. And before you really stir everything up, you want to add 2 tablespoons of water just to help activate the steam a little bit and really coat the fruit. As you can see, the color is changing. The fruit's getting nice and tender. It smells so good. And then we're going to start our assembly. This is about a 12-inch pan. You're going to add as much crumble as you want. This made so much. And you're just going to bake it at 350 for 20 minutes. All right, so it has been a couple of hours. This recipe made a lot more extra of the crumble. So it's like a really nice granola that I can put on top of yogurt, which is super convenient. Close that real quick. And I want to show you all the pie. It's beautiful. So here we have our apple and blackberry crumble tart cobbler of sorts. I know, buddy, it's so exciting. That's really good. I didn't do the recipe right at all. I used different ingredients, but I was still... It's not too sweet. The walnuts are awesome. The oats are really nice too. The apples are great. The blackberry gives a really good flavor. If I had more blackberries, it would obviously be more tart. I wish I had more blackberries, but Jack loves some blackberries. This is delicious. I modified the whole thing. I will type out the actual recipe for you all down below. And then I'll probably put in parentheses what I did differently. But definitely more blackberries next time. And I'm super stoked on the amount of crumble. So... if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want more videos like this or have any requests or are curious about anything in the world, leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you all next week.